Hello everyone, my name is Juan Rojas and I'm a student of this English course. Today I will talk about the Unit 6, Safety at Sea. First, I want to review what we have already covered. In Unit 1, I talk about the structure of ships, their parts and importance of each one. In Unit 2, I talked about the types of ships and their function, as well as the crew and its member. In Unit 3, I talk about the navigational instruments, what they are and their importance. In Unit 4, I talk about the ship machinery and the instrument used to support the mooring and unmooring of ships. In Unit 5, I emphasize the IMO and marine system, and today I will talk about the SOLAS Convention. Do you know what it is? The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, is an international maritime treaty that establishes minimum safety standards for commercial ships. Its primary objective is to protect human life, the human life at sea, by preventing loss of life and pollution of the marine environment. Origins and evolution. SOLAS was born after the sinking of the Titanic in 1912, which revealed the urgent need for international maritime safety standard. The first version of the convention was adopted in 1914 and has since been amended numerous times, incorporating new technology, lessons learned from accidents, and change in maritime transport. Structure and chapter. SOLAS is organized into chapters, each devoted to a particular aspect of maritime safety. Example, the chapter 1, general provision. This chapter sets out the general provision of the convention, including definition, application, exceptions, and procedures for amending the convention. General objective to establish the legal framework and basis for the implementation of the other chapter of SOLAS. Specific objectives to define terminology, scope of the convention, amendment procedures and exceptions. Chapter 2, part 1, construction, machinery and equipment. This refers to the standard for the construction, machinery and equipment of ships, establishing focusing on structural strength, compartmentation, stability, and life-saving equipment. General objectives to ensure the structural safety and buoyancy of the ship in the event of damage. Specific objectives to establish requirements for construction, for systems, propulsion system, life-saving equipment, example, life raft, lifeboat, another, and communication equipment. Chapter 2, Part 2, fire protection, fire alarm, and fire extinguishing system. Requirement for fire protection, detection and alarm system, and fire extinguishing equipment on ships. General objectives to minimize the fire risks on board and facilitate their control and extinguishing. Specific objectives to define the fire detection system, fire extinguishing system, example, sprinkler, extinguisher, and other. Fire-resistant material too, and evacuation procedures. Okay, Chapter 3. The Chapter 3, life-saving equipment. defines requirements for life-saving equipment, including life raft, life jacket, survival clothing, and other equipment essential for the survival in the event of abandoning ships. General objectives to ensure the availability of adequate life-saving equipment for crew and passenger. Specific objectives specifies the types, quantity, and maintenance of life-saving equipment, as well as crew training in its use. Chapter 4. Radio communication. Establish requirements for radio communication. Procedures including equipment, operating procedures, and crew training in maritime communication. General objective of the Chapter 4 to ensure continuous communication between the ship and the authorities and other ships too. Specific objective of the Chapter 4 to specific type of radio communication equipment, safety communication procedures, and emergency communication plans. Chapter 5. Navigational safety. Cover aspect relevant to navigation safety, including nautical chart, navigation equipment, collision prevention measure, safety management system. The general objective of the Chapter 5 improve navigational safety to prevent collision and other accidents. Specific objectives establish requirement for the navigation security, example bridge navigation equipment, example GPS, radar, eyes, ERDIS, and other navigational plans and collision prevention procedures. Chapter 6. Chapter on cargo measures. This chapter defines the requirement for the proper cargo storage in order to maintain the stability and safety of the ship. General objective so to ensure the established and safety of the ship during cargo transport. Specific objective of the Chapter 6 to establish a standard for storage, planning, weight distribution, cargo security, and prevention of cargo movement. Chapter 7. Transport of dangerous goods. This chapter regulates the maritime transport of the dangerous goods, establish a standard for their classification, packaging, handling, labeling, and documentation. It is based on the IMDG code, or International Maritime Dangerous Goods Code. General objective of this chapter to minimize the risks associated with the transport of dangerous goods. Specific objectives to establish a standard for the classification, packaging, marking, labeling, handling, and documentation of the dangerous goods. Chapter 8. Name is nuclear transport. This chapter regulates ships carrying nuclear materials, establish the special safety and security equipment or requirements for this type of transport. The general objective of this chapter to minimize the risks associated with the maritime transport of nuclear materials. Specific objectives to establish requirements for the design and construction of the ship carrying nuclear materials, safety measures, and emergency plan. Chapter 9. The Chapter 9, Safety Management, introduces the concept of the Safety Management System, SMS. an integrated system that must be implemented on board ships to prevent accidents. General objective of this chapter to implement a management system to improve safety on board ships. Specific objectives to establish requirements for safety planning, safety management, safety operation, and safety review. Chapter 10. The chapter 10 is measure to protect ships and port facilities. This chapter establishes measures to protect ships and port facilities against unlawful acts such as terrorism. General objective of this chapter to protect ships and port facilities against unlawful acts. Specific objectives to establish measures for the prevention, preparedness, response to unlawful acts, as well as security plans for the ships and port facilities. Chapter 11, Part 1, Security of the passenger ships. This is the more important chapter because establish additional security requirements for passenger ships, including evacuation measures, navigation safety, and fire prevention or fire protection. The general objective of this chapter to ensure the safety of passengers on passenger ships. Specific objective to establish additional requirements for the design of passenger ships, alarm system, life-saving equipment, and evacuation procedures. Chapter 11, Part 2, Cargo ship safety. This chapter establishes additional safety requirements for cargo ships, including collision prevention measures, and safety management. General objectives to improve the safety of navigation on cargo ships. Specific objective to establish additional requirements for safety management, navigation equipment, and safety procedures. Okay, in conclusion, throughout its evolution, the SOLAS Convention has proven to be a fundamental instrument for the continuous improvement of maritime safety worldwide. Its success lies in international cooperation and the implementation of minimum safety standards, which, although perfectible, have contributed significantly to the reduction of loss of life and the reduction of the environmental risks associated with the commercial maritime activity. Therefore, SOLAS remains an essential pillar for safety at sea, promoting safer and more responsible navigation. Thank you so much.